Live at Onigashima. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Anthony, and today we're doing chapter 1121, the ebb and flow of the ages. We're getting to the end of this arc. We got some more lore drop here, and I'm getting right into the end of it. We got a crazy last panel where we see the final bosses, or should I say the final contestants for the One Piece. Right here.
Yeah, I
here.
think starting at the end is probably the best with this one because that's what everyone's going to be talking about, right? We see all these people. I think a few things are really interesting about this because some of them are like, okay, we expect, right? Like the Four Emperors, Emu, Dragon, even Sabo Akainu. I'm surprised
Akainu's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no, not Akainu. Sorry, Aokiji. I meant Aokiji. I meant Aokiji.
Okay. Aokiji's a little weird to be in there, right? Because I wouldn't expect him to be a final boss. And then, of course, the one everyone's talking about is a silhouetted figure holding a sword.
Yes.
So, I don't know if you have many theories about that. I've seen some circulating, like, oh, that could be Roger's sword.
I've heard that, yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I believe that. Like,
well,
who would have Roger's sword?
But we don't know where it went because he didn't get buried or anything. Like how, he didn't get the same Whitebeard treatment. Like he got executed by the government. You know what I mean? So like, it could be. It could be that somebody has it.
I assume he didn't have his sword on him when he did that. He probably went to like Rayleigh and was like, "Here, take my sword."
Maybe, but we never seen Rayleigh with the sword.
Or maybe it's a
Rayleigh's had a bunch
Roger
of different
pirate?
swords too. So yeah, it's either a different Roger pirate or maybe he like left it somewhere. Because you know, for all we know, he left it at Laughtail. You know what I mean? But like, I doubt it. I don't know if we saw him afterwards with it. After he went to Laughtail.
If he left it at Laughtail, then this part of the speech would be a little useless because somebody would have already found the One Piece.
I guess that's true.
But we all know who's really finding the One Piece. Buggy D Clown is definitely going to be the one to find it.
It's funny that he's up there on the list. I mean, like, clearly Emperor status. He's in the running. We see Mihawk and Crocodile here, like, you know, displeased. But
displeased to say the least, honestly. Crocodile is so pissed off, and this is the first time I've ever seen Mihawk frown.
Yeah.
And they're just pissed. They're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
Dude, it's crazy. Even in the panel afterwards, Vegapunk. So this is probably Vegapunk, like the end of it. I would imagine. If not, there could be one more thing. Like they were saying, there's gonna be like a big drop at the end. I feel like there's gonna be a twist, and I don't feel this doesn't feel like a twist. This feels like an end cap. You know what I mean? Like this feels like the wrap up and the presentation of the final combatants for the rest of the story. Like this is the panel that's showing us like, all right, these are the guys you got to pay attention to for the rest of the story. You know what I mean? Because one thing that I was kind of thinking about with this whole Egghead arc is we kind of see like everybody that's relevant to the end game in this arc. Like we cut away to it, whatever. I don't know if there's anybody that we really don't see that would still be in the running for the One Piece at the very least.
I think Oda's kind of hit everybody, honestly.
Yeah, it's not like NL or Shiki or whatever. Like he's telling us here, like, okay, maybe those guys will show up, but like these are the guys to pay attention to for the rest of the story. Even though like the Navy headquarters, they're like, we're gonna go find it.
Which another thing I think is really interesting about that is the fact that they show Fagarland again. Like, because we knew he was going to be kind of important, but this kind of puts even more emphasis on him. So I'm really interested to find out like his story and like, because we haven't seen any of the other Gods Knights, but they've shown him a lot now all of a sudden.
So that's one thing that's one of the things that people are thinking with this silhouette is that it's one of the Gods Knights. So if you remember back when Dragon was talking about them at first and he was like, oh, we got to worry about the Gods Knights, we see that big silhouette wide shot of all the supposed Gods Knights, and right in the middle was a guy that looked kind of like Shanks. You know what I mean? Like it looked kind of like his sword, or this sword that we're seeing here. And a lot of people are pointing to this conspiracy again now that Shanks is evil or in some way in cahoots with the government, right? But this is kind of an interesting thing because it's like, okay, if you thought that was Shanks somehow, this is showing that maybe like there's Shanks and this other Shanksy person. Like I don't know if there's an extension of the Figureland family, if maybe some people are saying that he has a brother. We never saw
his evil twin.
His evil twin, yeah. I think it's a weird like way to go about it, but there are some facts to support it, like the fact that when we see him approach the Gorosei during the reverie, we don't see his scar. We only see the profile of his face. So you know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's Shanks. Like maybe Shanks has a twin brother who has a very similar sword to him, a very similar physique, who's in the Gods Knights. You know, Figureland probably had multiple wives or whatever, being like a celestial dragon and everything. Or maybe that, you know, this goes further into like, you know, why Roger found Shanks at God Valley, or why he was in the treasure chest. Like, why did Figureland give him up? Maybe?
even if he's not a twin, I still think he is a celestial dragon at the very least. And I guess that would make sense here also. But I just find it weird that they would show Shanks and then like a silhouette of someone like Shanks. But I don't know. It could be like the theory
could be
doesn't
like a
have
Sabo
like really
and
any
Sabo's
holes in
brother situation.
That's
you know what
Luffy.
I mean?
That's
No. I mean Sabo's biological brother. You know how like one of them stayed with the Celestials. Like he's actually like a not a Celestial, but like a noble. And then
I think that guy wasn't his biological brother.
Oh, that's right. They were adopted. I think they were adopted. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. But regardless, you know, like something like that. Like it could be like a parallel to Shanks and like whatever he's got going on. Like we don't know anything about Shanks besides the fact that he's a bum and had a daughter and like left her or whatever.
You know, he has a drinking problem.
And
just
he has
like
a
Rayleigh.
drinking
We see
problem.
the parallel between them in this chapter. Rayleigh's passed out drunk. Shanks' crew is like, bro, you're drinking too much. He's like, shut up. I'm not drinking too much.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what's being passed out. That's the will of D, bro. The will of drunk.
The will of drunk.
But
one of the other things though in this chapter, cutting around to some other people, is they cut back to Hachinosu and Blackbeard's still not on the island. Like, I don't think he would have been that far when he defeated Law, so I think he probably went somewhere else. So I know we said it before about where he's gonna go. I wonder if this cover story, which we don't actually get to see in this chapter, is going to lead to somehow Blackbeard invading Wano for the ancient weapon, because they also talk about ancient weapons in this chapter. They talk about how well, just that the ancient weapons are out there, and then part of what I thought was really interesting about that is it shows Shirahoshi, makes sense, right? Like we know she's an ancient weapon, but then it shows Vivi right after, and that's another one where for a while people are thinking like, oh, maybe Vivi is like Shirahoshi, where she could control the ancient weapon with like her voice or something.
Well, she made it rain. Like that was like the
that's
big
what I was
thing,
about to mention too. Yeah, the big thing is when she shouted, she made it rain in Alabasta. So I wonder if that's like a nod to her also being the ancient weapon.
I would think so. I mean, like it's seeming increasingly likely that Vivi is gonna be like a major part of the end game. I mean, we saw Emu with her, with the sword, right? In her not a wanted poster, but I guess just a poster of her. Same thing with Shirahoshi. So they were paralleled back then. They're doing it right again here. Like Oda is clearly setting something up. In the whole thing with like Blackbeard going to Wano, one thing I also kind of been thinking is we only have a limited amount of islands like left, right, and a limited amount of time to tell this story. We have Elbaf that we're clearly going to, we got Laugh-Tale that we clearly have to go to, and there's the final war, wherever that's going to happen. I'm assuming Maryjois or at Laugh-Tale, who knows. But the other one place that we haven't gone to that I feel like has been important since the beginning is Logtown. And I feel like maybe Blackbeard, in a weird twist, could go to Logtown and, you know, maybe meet Scopper Gaban or whatever the thing is.
But my thing is just, what is he going to do at Logtown? Like, what's his purpose for going there?
Probably to learn more about the poneglyphs and stuff is what I would assume.
But is there really any information about the poneglyphs? Like,
Maybe
I can see him going to Alabasta for that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because we know Alabasta has poneglyphs in it. It's a really ancient town or island or whatever. So I could see him invading that, especially since he knows, like, hey, Cobra's dead and Vivi's missing. So there's nobody running that country right now.
That's true.
So they're extremely vulnerable.
But it's like, what is there in Alabasta besides that one poneglyph that it says that the thing is on Wano? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that could be pretty useful. Like, he doesn't...
But he's getting that from Caribou already. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he would just go straight to Wano, I think.
That's true.
So I don't know if we're going back to Alabasta until the end of the story, to be honest. But the other thing that happened in this chapter that I like, the two people that they cut to that were interesting, or I guess three people, because they cut to Marco, King, and Pudding. King, we get this mysterious background. We don't know where King is, right? King, for all we know, is in Impel Down, and could be a part of this whole Impel Down 2.0 thing that people have been talking about. Um, Pudding is behind bars at Hachinosu or with the Blackbeard pirates, I guess.
Yeah, some were captured by them.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to see these little like how the government has been affecting people of alternate races and like kind of targeting them, and just getting kind of like more context to how evil all this shit is while Bonnie gets to get her final punch, which we called, again, by the way, pretty, again, easy layup. I thought that Bonnie or Kuma was going to get up and get one less smack to Saturn, and they definitely did that.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, Saturn got really fucked up here. Granted, most of it was for Luffy's punches. Like, you can kind of see in the picture after where he has all those holes in his body.
Yeah.
None of them are right in the center, which is the one that Bonnie hit him with.
Right.
But I still think it's kind of crazy that Luffy's just punching holes through this guy. Like, how hard are those punches? Like,
he's going crazy.
He didn't do that to, like, anybody else. So is this guy's body just really weak? I don't think so.
Nah, he's just...
Luffy's just
crazy,
ripping him
dude.
apart.
Yeah, and it's a funny panel. She's like, Nika punch! It's like when you like, have... like a little kid who's like trying to whack a pinata or whatever, and then the adults come and like whack the shit out of it on the side. Like, that's what that was. So like he goes,
yes, Bonnie, you are helping, we swear.
Yeah. Like one thing that I thought was interesting here actually though is, so we've been saying before that the Gorosei might not be affected by water because we thought we saw them go into the water. I don't know if we did see them go into the water because I think that Emmett and them are still fighting on land, and it looks to be implied that Saturn is actually gonna die here if he falls into the water. So I don't know.
Which could be a thing. One of the other things I've heard people say recently is that, so we've been coming out knowing like, hey, devil fruits have a lot to do with willpower and what you think about what's gonna happen, right? And what your actual beliefs are. So what if the reason that people can't swim while they have devil fruits is because they truly believe that they can't swim?
Yeah, I've heard
Same
that.
reason why they believe they can't have two devil fruits is because they truly believe it. But once you get past that notion of I can't do this, then you can do it. Kind of like Bonnie did with her fruit, where the whole time she's like, I can't do this, I can't do this. And Luffy's like, no, you can do this. And then she was able to turn into Nika.
Right.
So I wonder if it's the same thing with like devil fruit powers, and it's just propaganda from the world government being like, hey, if you go into water, you can't swim, you're gonna die, because they know, hey, look, everything is underwater now, you're gonna find out all the secrets if you go under there.
Yeah, big government conspiracy. I think so. Honestly, I think that's like really, that's a cool thing. I mean, really, the times we've seen that is just like, yeah, I mean, every time like somebody like goes into the water, they're just like, glub 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 glub, and I think that like it goes into the Blackbeard stuff again, like maybe the thing that he knows that we don't, because everybody's always like, oh my god, like his body's weird, he must know something about, and maybe that's what he knows, is that you have to believe. And that was the first thing we saw from him, like when he confronted Luffy and Luffy was like, oh my god, like this guy gets it, when they had that like stare off in Jaya, was
man's dreams never die.
Yeah, like that, you know, if you believe it then it's fine. And that's how he got the devil fruit. He was like, oh, I'm gonna believe that I can take this from Whitebeard, and he did. And I still really like the Kraken theory that Blackbeard is like an octopus or a Kraken or something, because that would be a really cool like mythical devil fruit for him to have to round out all three types of devil fruits, like him getting a mythical zone and it being a Kraken, and him being one of the only, if not the only character that can like swim with devil fruits. But it's because, not necessarily just because of the Kraken fruit, but like the fact that that even exists should tip us off that like what you're saying is true. Like it's all about belief, and like he just believes that he can do it, not turn into a Kraken, but like swim even as the Kraken fruit, or like whatever fruit, you know. So I think I think that Blackbeard is looking also increasingly like cooler with every little piece. The
more we find out about the world, the more it opens our eyes to what Blackbeard is actually capable of.
Yeah.
And it makes him a much bigger threat. I mean, like Shanks said it before, it's like, hey, look, this dude is not to be messed with. Like, he knows too much, he has the powers to do it. Like, he might take over the world.
He might. Yeah. I mean, that's what they said. The world.
So what?
Yeah. Just overall,
super good chapter.
Great. I think that next chapter is probably gonna be, I don't want to say the last chapter, but I feel like we got two more. like
So
that.
I think, like you said, I think this is the end of Vegapunk's speech because it feels like it should come to an end here. But I still think there's a little bit more of Egghead for them to go. Like they still have to kind of escape everything.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think maybe like 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
So
We'll see what the wrap up is.
Sadly,
it's gonna be interesting. Oh man, don't
yeah.
don't even. All right,
You guys
say
know.
It. All right,
I won't have to say it.
Say it. You gotta say it. You gotta say it.
There's a break next week.
No. No. Yeah. Well, Oda needs his breaks. We need our breaks.
We got a lot to theorize
yeah.
on, so he left us with something good at
least. A lot
least.
to chew on. This panel's great. You know what I noticed about this last panel? We got a little piece of Emu here. Emu's eyebrow has been revealed.
Oh, new lore for Emu. Emu has eyebrows.
I don't think I knew that Emu has eyebrows. So you know he's not a lizard person, as I'm sure nobody theorized.
Hey, what could be the first?
Emo
But
is a
anyways,
lizard person. That's gonna be the title of this video.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your theories about the end of the series in the comments.
Yeah, we want to hear that because you know this can go in a million different directions. But I'm advocating Buggy for Pirate King still. So
Me too. Buggy for Pirate King. Let's go. All right. Peace out.
Peace.